Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. And, oh my, that's a lot of messages just at the start of stream today. Hello everyone. Anywho, so today I'm hoping to get through a lot of stuff here. I think I can finish this guy in the next couple of sessions. And first I just want to revisit this foot because I don't like it. I think mostly it's just too big. I don't necessarily think I need to fix a bunch of things about it. So I'm just gonna make it a little smaller. just gonna make it a little smaller. For now, I'll keep all the proportions the same, but I might need to adjust those a little bit too. That's a little bit too small. I better do this zoomed out just to make sure I get my proportions correct. Anyway, I'm leaving the lighting on for now. That's probably what I will be doing today. But yes, hello there, Yedgy Kitty and Frederick. Welcome back. It's okay. I mean, leave whenever you need. I think it's totally fine for people to just come and go when they feel like it. I think these things are meant to be enjoyed. No need to force yourselves to stay when you got other stuff you need to get done. No need to stress about anything. Alright, let's see here. Yeah, that's a bit better. Like, relative to her face, this seems small, but I kind of want it to go into the background, so I think this makes sense. Ah, did you get to have a yummy dinner then? I think this makes sense, so... Alright. I know I said I was going to leave the lighting on, but I gotta turn it off now. Because I still... got a couple of things left to do here. I gotta smooth out all the paint. So, lighting goes off. We're gonna turn off the lights before we turn them on again. Excellent. Okay. So I've done all the stuff in the front, I've got the character done, so let's smooth out all the paint here. Alright. I think I'm just gonna leave all my foreground paint on. I don't want to spend too much time just being too particular about the paint in the background. I just want to make sure that there's some nice patterns and shapes that look interesting. And I'll leave it at that. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you're feeling better today. Yeah, I'll stay zoomed out for the time being, and we'll just try to make some cool shapes in paint. Let's see, this one will be a nice wave here. We'll just let it wave like this. I'll make it a little bit blobbier. And then maybe just a little hole right there. See if I can get something I like going here. Yeah, that seems pretty cool. I'll leave it like that. Well, like I said, not gonna do anything too complicated, just getting the last little bit here. This part, it lacks the proper energy. That's the best way I can describe it. It lacks the proper energy. It's gotta be going up here. See? I don't think the shape is right now, but at least the energy is in a better spot. So let's see here. I don't like the way these two are overlapping, so I'm actually gonna take this and we're just gonna, like, use my transform tools to see if I can find a good home for it. Because I want something there, I just don't like the way it's overlapping with these guys. I can tell that I drew them separately. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's okay. I think I can compensate here. Maybe something like this. The energy is a little bit off, but I think I can fix it while keeping the spots that I want to overlapping. Yeah. There we go. Because it's important, right? Like, this purple splash is supposed to be caused by her foot jumping in the paint. So I need to make sure that everything kind of has this explosive direction going from that. And that's basically how I'm approaching it. So I gotta make sure everything is flying in the right ways here. Everything's gotta be flying in just the right way. Very important. So I'll add a few little splashes coming off here too. Maybe not there. I think that's okay. Maybe I'll add a little spot here. There we go. I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, and then I got this guy over here, who also does not have the right energy. I mean, I mentioned before that the energy here is just, we got the center, and then it's gonna go explode outward. And this guy not matching that energy. Not at all. The way this is shaped, energy is hard to describe, but you can feel it. Like, especially when you get an intuition for how to draw it, and I can guarantee that once I fix this up, it'll be much better. But here, it's just... it's got a almost circular quality to it. I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention. I try to avoid going outside if I can help it. But my kids drag me outside constantly, so... I imagine my daughter will want to go to the park again today. Once I am done with stream. Okay. So let's see here. I don't really want this to be curving that way. That's not where the energy is going. The energy is going that, you know, up here. Just from the foot up. I guess I can let it curve that way if I want it to, but it feels weird. I prefer it going the other way. Can I just flip this upside down? Because the shape overall isn't bad. Vertically, I guess. Yeah. Oop. There we go. Yep, that's a bit more what I want. And... okay, so maybe something like that. I think this should work, and then I'll make this side a little bit stringier. So we'll have the big blob over there, and then stringy spots coming out. Yeah, it's been going pretty well. Just messing around. Finished another drawing off stream, so I uploaded the speed paint for that today. Getting through my request backlog. Made some progress on my design for Michi's design contest, so that's been going well. So, been quite happy with how everything's been going. How's your day been going? Okay, and I'd say this is pretty energetic. I'm pretty happy with that. Look at all that blobbing. So blobby. No, those are important to do too. Stuff's got to get done. And I'll draw a couple of stringier parts coming off here and match the energy I've got coming off here. And I think that should be pretty good. I think that should be pretty good. Okay. I kind of want one more coming through there. I like the stuff in the background kind of showing up through the various loops and holes that I put in here. So that's been pretty... I like that. I think it looks pretty cool. Kinda... I don't know how to describe it, just... makes things look more interesting. Like, some parts are further forward and some parts are further back. How's that shape? Okay, I think I'm happy with that shape. Let's go ahead and refine it. Let's see, is that part of the green or the purple? That's purple. Okay. Most of this gonna stay dark, but I'll probably add a few little highlights here and there just to make it a little bit more three-dimensional. Okay, yeah, that's a nice little stringy blob. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, do you like your glasses? Are you getting a lot out of him? Yeah, I actually think the shapes here are pretty strong. So, I'm just going to avoid changing them too much and just refine what's there just a little bit. The edges are still a bit weird, like, you can see the difference between, like, how nice and smooth and round this one is versus this guy, which you can tell that I just kind of scribbled something in real quick. So I just gotta smooth all of that out. Just gotta smooth it all out. Nice and gently here. Nice and gently. Oh, that's good. Exercise is important. I have noticed that personally I've had more energy since I started going on a walk in the morning, so... important to keep your body moving. Yeah, it's like I noticed it quite a lot when I took my kids to the amusement park, last Friday. And I was just marveling that if I went, like, last year before I started trying to exercise a bit more, I don't think I would have been able to keep up nearly as well as I did. So I can tell it's been paying off. Yeah. It's okay, your body and mind are very much connected, so it's important to keep it all together. Why is that, Edgy Kitty? All right. There's a nice blob there. I kind of want to make these guys a little bit rounder here. And gotta smooth this out here. I see. Oh, so it's not really about anything about Japanese education. You just want to go to Japan? I don't blame you. It seems like a pretty country. I'm personally not a big fan of traveling myself, but I can certainly see why people would want to go to some of these places. What can I say? I just very much want to sit at home and draw things. My ideas of a good day is I just sit here at my computer and do stuff on it all day. Maybe play the occasional game or watch something with my husband or something. That sounds like a pretty fantastic day. But I've got everything I want right here. Information about what? Yeah, I mean, it's good to help out your mom. It's like I gotta say that keeping a good relationship with my dad has certainly helped me out here, now that I have kids. Because, oh man, does he love hanging out with the grandkids. And it takes some of the pressure of parenting off of me, and I very much appreciate that. Raising kids is pretty hard, so having a little bit of help is nice. I see. Yeah, I don't know too much about the internet in other countries. And how it's all handled and stuff. I just know how things are around here. Okay, and smoothing out all this paint is going pretty well. It's gonna be nice and smooth. I think the shapes here are looking very nice too. Got some nice paint-like blobbiness to them, I think. I think I mentioned last time that I'm worried that it looks a little bit too thick to be paint, but yeah, no, I think it's fine. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't really like the idea of banning things. It seems pretty silly. At least when it comes to just, like, silly internet things. Like, when it comes down to it, Discord is just a communication tool, so... Nothing too sinister there, although it can be used for very sinister purposes. If the user is so inclined, I suppose. Okay, there we go. That's a little blob. And I do think I will add a little bit of background splatter here. Probably not a lot. Just in a few places. Just enough to look nice. Because I think this is the last one I've actually got to fix here. Yep. I've gotten all the rest. Cool. Let's go ahead and add some paint splatter in a few places. So what I like to do there is I just make a new layer and I grab one of Krita's splatter brushes. It's there by default. And then I just kind of brush over some places where I want a little bit of splatter. We're going light on it this time. There we go. I think that should be plenty. And now I can go back over it with just my usual hard round brush. And I do like doing it like that because the Krita's splatter brush is partially transparent. And I don't think that fits very well with just how smooth and not transparent, I guess, the rest of my art tends to be. So I do like just using it as an idea of where I should put some things, getting it to be a little bit more randomized. The brain is amazingly terrible at putting things in random places. Like you'd think it'd be easy, but it's not. Brain is terrible at it. Absolutely terrible. It keeps wanting to find patterns and stuff. Because that's what brains are good at. They're good at finding patterns in just random places. Even when there's no pattern to begin with. So I like to use the brush just to kind of help me out. Make things a little bit more random. Computers are better at randomness. Yes, this is my real voice. Okay, there's little dent splatter there. I think this one actually looks a little bit weird, but it should be fine. Oh, thank you. I like my voice. As with most people, I went through a period where I absolutely hated the sound of it, but, you know, I got over it, and now I'm pretty happy with it. But, like, that's normal. Everybody always hates the sound of their own voice. Something acoustics in your head. It just... When you hear a recording of your voice, it sounds kind of foreign. And like everything is wrong. So just one of those interesting things about how the brain works. Brains are weird. Alright, I just want to add little highlights on a few of these. I don't think a lot of them need it. I don't think this one actually needs any at all. Got a little one out here. Just a little one. But I don't think the rest needs it. This one actually might even be a little bit too big, so I'm gonna take it back a little. I'm gonna get rid of it here. I want to make it clear that all of this is in the background. So I don't want it to be too just... I don't know, too highlighted. I want the highlights to be in very clear places. And in fact, I think this one will do better with maybe just a tiny one right there. How's that? I think that looks pretty good. So I will go ahead and smooth that out. Just go ahead and smooth everything out as always. Just continuing with my usual pattern of I go ahead and kind of put my ideas down. Make sure that everything looks good while I'm zoomed out, and then I can zoom in without worry. I don't have to be constantly zooming in and out. I trust. I trust what I put down. And then I make it nice and clean. Nice and clean. Yeah, I'm glad my dad's able to see my kids. They always have a great time, and they're always so excited when the grandparents come, so... It is a good time for everyone, I think. Alright. Unfortunately, I did not put very many lights around, so I should be able to finish this nice and quickly. I think what's going to be really hard is the two big splats behind her. Those ones might take a little while. I don't think I have to pull any shenanigans or anything, but I will probably have to look up a bit of paint splatter reference. Just to make sure that I get the shapes right. Because, yeah, the way paint splatters is a little bit different from how it just, I don't know, like, splashes around like this. Like, the difference between the splatter and the splash. So the ones in the background, I kind of want to make it look like it hit a wall. Whereas these ones were not meant to look like they hit a wall. These ones are meant to look like they're free-flowing. Yellow one out there hitting the brush, the pink one's just circling around her head, and this purple one just being splashed by her foot. So all of those flow pretty freely. And the wall will be just a little bit different. Alright, there we go. 1 of 3 paint splatters done. Let's get the other 2. So it looks like the green one is in front, so I'll do that first. Okay, I'm gonna go take a look at paint splatters real quick. So let me check that. Okay. Man, it's kind of unfortunate. I can tell that a lot of these results are more based in drawings and AI, which is not what I want here. I very much want a photograph. AI in particular makes for terrible references unless you're specifically looking to for like stylistic advice, I guess. Okay, that one looks pretty good. Okay, so I probably want some of these parts to be a little bit thinner and more numerous. No, actually, I think what I have drawn is probably okay. There's a few different ways I can do it. Okay. I'll just go ahead and mostly leave it like this. I can see that there were a few places that used to be underneath something, though. So now there's just a few random holes here and there that I gotta fill in. Yeah, no problem. If you're sleepy, you should sleep. Sleep is very important. Alright. And I think I'll have a little bit coming through her leg here. I think that'll make it clear that it is going behind her, as opposed to just kinda arbitrarily stopping there. It'll make it clear that there's stuff going on behind her leg there. And that kind of thing is important. So I'm mostly just going to be smoothing this, but I'll do a little bit of sculpting. Little bit of sculpting. I wanted to make sure it goes all the way through that, and then I just want some parts, you know, for similar reasons, to be coming out through this purple paint here. And I want some thin parts and some thick parts. There we go. I kind of like it sneaking through that little tunnel I made there. And I'll just kind of clean it up as I go, since I'm doing this mostly for cleaning's sake. And I don't want to add too many small ones like this while I'm zoomed in this much. In fact, if I'm cleaning, I should be zoomed in to 100% here, at least. I'll make this a little bit blobbier. Here we go, on to the last two little bits of paint splatter. It always feels a little bit surreal to me when I'm getting near the end like this. Like, I can hardly believe that it's all done. And it feels weird. That used to be way more true in the past, because I have gotten a little bit faster in recent years. I used to work at the same painting for like months at a time. So it's like when I got to the end, I'm just like, oh man, what am I even gonna do with myself now? It was the end of an ordeal. Whereas here, this is like part 11. Which, all things considered, not bad. I'll add a few little paint splatters out here. Let this kind of sploosh out everywhere. And I'll probably use my splatter brush again, you know, as I've been doing. It's been pretty useful. Alright, let's make all this look nice here. Because I think the shapes are pretty nice, so just gotta smooth things out a bit. Let me see. I need to get rid of the background here. Still don't know why my tablet keeps thinking I'm double-clicking. I've looked at the settings and they all seem normal, so I'm not sure why that's happening. Technology is just like that sometimes, I suppose. Okay. I guess I'm keeping this part simple, and I think that's fine. I'll put a little thin part coming off of this. Because that's always what these spots that have this kind of look to it, you know, where there's like one lump and then another lump. That just knows what it reminds me of. It feels like there should be a little bit spraying off. So something like that. And I will just go ahead and make this part super thin, nice and round through there. And that is wonderful. Let me actually even add a little hole right here. Yeah, I think that does look pretty wonderful. Add just a little spray over here too, and maybe just a little bit of splatter out this way. I've mentioned before about the energy. I might actually want to zoom out a little and check the energy. I realized that I didn't really do that very thoroughly. I just kind of assumed it'd be fine since it's splattering up against a wall. But no, I gotta keep the correct energy. You gotta keep the correct energy all the way through. So I'll do that after I smooth this part out. Okay, I think that's good. Let me check the energy here. Oh no, the energy on this outer part is fine. I might want a little bit more splatter here, but yeah, this is all good. I do need to fix the energy on the inside here. It's okay, sleeping is hard. It's important, though. I'm gonna add a couple of blobs out here. Just because right now I feel like the energy is insufficient. Just insufficient. You know, that wasn't intentional, but it looks great. So I'm gonna keep it. So I'll add a little bit more paint explosionness this way. This area was looking a little bit lonely, so I'm kind of going back through and adding some smaller ones. There we go. Now it should look a little bit less lonely. Maybe a nice couple of little blobs out here too. Okay, yep, over here is looking a little bit less lonely now. So I think I'll just leave it like that. Part of me always wants to rush through some of the background elements, but no, they're important. This is the scene that the character is playing in. And you can't afford to get lazy right at the end. That would just be unfortunate. Okay, and I will add a little tiny blob here. And there we go. Okay. Got a little mitten here, I guess. it just looks like a little mitten to me, but I think it looks fine, so I'm gonna keep it. Let's see, do I need any more little spots spraying or anything out there? I don't think so. Okay, let's work on the inner part a little bit here. Kind of where it starts merging with the blue. How do I want to do this? How do I want to do this? I think I want to make it a little bit less prominent on the top and a little bit more prominent at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away a little bit of it here. We're going to let it slide out under the hair, and I'll just keep this little, I don't know, blob right there. I'll put a little spray over there, and I think that should look pretty good. This I'm going to do zoomed out rather than zoomed in. I mostly thought that this side looked fine. But now I'm changing some big shapes about this. So I'm going to kind of clear over here, and I'm just going to make it go through at the bottom there. And I think that'll make for some interesting colors here. Add a little wave here, some little blobs coming out. Just here and there. I can put them pretty much anywhere I want and it should look okay. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Before I go and smooth that part out, I think I'm also going to do a little bit on the blue side here. And start making sure that that looks okay. Because yeah, if I want it to be a little bit more prominent at the top, then I need some stuff to be splattering up here above her head. Oh, well, I mean, I'm not going to be finishing for another, what, 2 hours? Yeah, that is unfortunate. It can be hard to make friends, but I think it's important to have friends in real life. I mean, to an extent, you can have genuine friendships online, but it's not the kind of thing that a random anime girl on the internet can replace. So you gotta find a way to meet people in real life, otherwise, yeah, you'll probably have a bad time. Because I can definitely tell you that streamers are not a substitute for friends in real life. It's like when you're having a bad day, I can't give you a hug. I can't, do any of those things. Put a little bit out from under her foot there. And I think that's pretty good. Let's see, do I want any more blue up here? No, I think this is a pretty good shape. Yeah, I'll add a few more spots coming out here. I mean, I wasn't giving you advice on how to make friends. I said making friends is hard. Just that it's probably something you gotta do. This might be a question more appropriate for, like, a school counselor or maybe your teachers, for example. This is not my area of expertise, but it's serious enough that you gotta do something. And I don't think you can really expect the other kids necessarily to help you. Okay, I just want to pull some of these blobs out here. Okay, yep, I think that looks pretty good. Let me check it against the gray background here. No. I did not sneeze. If I was gonna sneeze, I would have muted. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty good. So let's see, I'm gonna start with the green still. Go ahead and smooth all this out and get everything in exactly the right spot here. I would actually go as far as to say that YouTube is a terrible place to make friends. Just in general. Trust me, any kind of friendly relationship you'd have with streamers or even other people on the internet does not compare to real life. Absolutely does not. It is not the same. Alright, let's go ahead and get all this. I actually kind of like this blob, so I'm going to go ahead and shape it to be that kind of blobby shape. Yeah, that's a pretty good little shape for some paint. I'm going to go ahead and add a little hole in here too. Maybe this side. Yeah, that side is much better. Okay. Yeah, and I think this is all looking pretty smooth, so I'm gonna carve this one out just a little bit here, make it just a little bit blobbier. It was a little bit straight. And I'm gonna carve this one to be just below this yellow thing here. There we go. And here, I think I want this one to actually come above the yellow part there. At least a piece of it. This side, I think, is mostly looking okay. Just gotta smooth out. Just gotta smooth out all these things here. Okay, there we go. Now I've gotten all the way around. So I think that's good for the green. I still need to shade it, but I think I want to do the basics of the blue before I clean it up. I'll go ahead and add roughly where I think some of the light and dark should be. You know, as I tend to. I want most of the stuff behind the purple and Iofifteen herself to be dark. I'll add a few lights here and there, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty dark. In here, I think should just be completely dark. Add a couple of little blobs out here. All right. I think I'll add just a tiny shadow right there. I think that'll look pretty good. Here, I just want to carve out the shape of the paint and just where it's turning and all that. Although actually here, it's like if it's supposed to be against a wall, it's actually going to have probably a lot of shadows, huh? Okay. In that case, I will lessen this a little bit. Because I actually want this to look a little bit less three-dimensional than, like, these guys, for example. If it is supposed to be up against a wall. Yeah, now that I think about it, that actually makes more sense. So I'll make it a little bit thinner here. A little bit thinner all the way through. All right, there we go. Oh wait, did I miss a spot? No, I didn't miss a spot. There was just a highlight on this one. I don't know if I like the highlight there. I'm gonna get rid of it. I think a little bit of a highlight there might be appropriate, but that was way too big. Much, much too big. So I'll go back through and add that a little bit later. Okay. Looking good, I think. Add a little bit more darkness over here. And a little bit more light in here. Okay, let's go add where I think these highlights should go now. Because I don't think that these ones are in the right spot. Right, this one should be more like this. It's like a big, round blob. Just a big old blob. And I'll put a few just through here. And then, like I said, I think it makes sense for there to be one here, but it needs to be smaller. Okay, and I think that's all the highlights necessary. Do I want to put one over here? No, I don't think I do. Okay. So now I guess I'll clean up the blue part. I kind of want to get the shadows on both of these roughly where I want them before I go in and smooth things out. Just because I think these two halves work together too much for me to do them separately. So I'll be doing that. I will be doing that. Okay, I want a little bit to come past her hair here. Something like this, I think. Oh no, that doesn't work with the way I have that carved out. Okay, so what I actually want to do is remove that little bit. Do I like that? You know, that's the question, right? Do I like that? Do I want her hair to just not have any background against it? I guess it's fine. Yeah, I guess it's fine. I'll leave it like that. I guess it is fine. Totally fine. I'm gonna add a little string of paint here. Actually, that looks bad. Never mind. Yeah, I can't just draw it like hair. Paint is weird. But I do want a little bit to just be coming out there. I do, but oh man. Everything I draw like that just looks bad. I'll try again. Just gotta keep trying until I get it right. Just gotta keep trying until I get it right. And I think that looks pretty good. Okay, and then down here, this all seems like it's shaped pretty okay, so I guess I'll just leave it like that. That seems fine. I don't like this shape, though. This shape looks a bit weird. I'll add another little bit of splatter and spray out here. Just, you know, when in doubt, do that. If anything looks a little bit lonely, I definitely can't have that. Honestly, I feel like this point is pretty controlled. Like, at this point, everything is pretty much done. So I'm just doing boring cleanup stuff. The real chaos is at the very beginning. When I'm just blocking everything in. But it's like, at this point, there's like, so few decisions to make. Like, I can't completely turn off my brain, but I mostly do. That's why I feel like when I'm rendering, my stream of consciousness gets extra streamy. Alright, let's just get some of these little blobby parts in. Do I want to add some strings coming off? I think I probably do. I'll add one here. That seems like a good idea. Just gotta keep it all simple. Alright, well, see you next time, Felipe. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so we got some stringiness coming out here. And I will just make this all nice and smooth. That's basically just what I'm doing right now, just making everything nice and smooth. When it comes down to it, that is like 90% of my rendering process. Just, okay, I've got everything drawn, now I just have to make it not look ugly. Now I just gotta make it all pretty. And it takes a little while to get through it all. Yeah, and I say that, I just have a little bit of pixel dirt around here too. Probably some stuff I couldn't see very well because of the gray background. The gray background did help for a while. It really did. But now I should prepare to get rid of it all. Because it's not going to be there for the final one. There will be no gray background in the final one. It's just going to be transparent. I want a couple more blobs here. Oh, over here looks a little bit lonely. I don't like it there, though. Maybe here instead. Yeah, I think there's good, and that's a fine shape. Okay. Man, I haven't even changed that much about the background, but when I look at the thumbnail, it looks amazingly different to me. With even just a little bit of paint shape difference. So I did cut into this blue side a little bit more and really alter the shape of it. I just think it's funny how these just small little changes can actually make a pretty big difference. So let's go ahead and I'll just put a few little splattery points around here. It makes sense to me, so I'll do it. Okay, so I think I just have this little guy. Because yeah, I don't have to do the interior part because that's all covered up by the green paint. So this should be the end there. Yep. I think it all looks pretty good. And so now I will just go ahead and add some shadows here. I don't like those ones, so I'm just going to go ahead and clear them right away. And I will just paint around the edge. Try to add a little bit of depth to the paint here. All the usual stuff. Find the areas that need to be light and the areas that need to be dark. And of course, pretty much everything by Iofifteen is just going to be dark, because those shadows will push her forward a little bit. Let's see, on this side, the shadows actually go this way. Here we are. And that'll be the shadow caused by the paint. That'll do something like that, I think. Knee. And all of her body here. I want to make sure that there's lots of little shadows around her. Okay. Oh, over here should be dark too. Okay, now that's the corner of her paintbrush. That is not a transparent part that I missed. Let's see here. I want to add anything else. I don't think so. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to shading these parts around. And some of those little guys are gonna need some very specific attention. I want under here to be dark, I think. And I'm trying to be somewhat consistent with my light source, which is going to be like around her face. It'll be like she's radiating light. That's why I say somewhat. I'm not always 100% consistent, but it's fine. I don't need to be. I'm drawing the anime. I can do what I want. I see that I've got a little hole right by her hand. That is definitely no good. Gotta fill all those little holes in. Alright, it's fine. Just... You don't need to apologize for anything. Just enjoy what you enjoy. That's what I'm here for. Okay. Okay, I think that's about as much as I want for her knee there, so I will add just a little bit of shadow around this guy. And then I think it's almost time to go in and finally clean all this up. I'm gonna start with the green one. But yes, I think... Oh yeah, I still have to do the highlights. Because I don't like where any of these ones are. But yeah, I think things are looking pretty good. Look at her go. She looks so spinny. Looks like she's having so much fun making a big mess. I don't want to put too many lights in the back there, though, so I think that's probably fine. Do I need any more? Or maybe, like, right through here? Maybe just a little guy right here. I'm just gonna kind of pet and play with this highlight. Feel it out a little. So I don't quite know what the paint here is doing. So I'm just kinda feeling it out. Just kinda trying some things, seeing what shapes look really nice here. And right now I think there looks pretty nice. Okay, yeah, I think that's pretty good. Alright, let's go ahead and do the final smoothing. And then I get to play some pretty lights. I do love playing with the pretty lights. It always makes me happy. I'll go ahead and add some dots here for the paint, the yellow paint splatter. So this is where I will be getting everything into its final state. It's still kind of hard for me to believe that it's almost there. Genetics. You were given the genetics of a human. And there we go. That is looking pretty good. And I think I'm happy with all the shadows from the yellow paint splatter there. Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. Let's go ahead and get these little guys before I move on. These guys require some precision. Okay, so here's what you do if you want to be a fish. Step 1. Get rich. Step 2. Send in a bunch of funding towards scientists that want to do some, like, freaky mad science. And figure out how the proteins in the bodies of people and various other animals work. And see if they can figure out how they're all put together, and then eventually give you the necessary body modification to be a fish. Alternatively, put your brain in a robot fish body. You need scientists for that too. That's okay. I'm pretty sure with enough effort, science can solve just about anything, so... If you want to be a fish that badly, work hard, make lots of money. And then maybe you can find a scientist that can pull it off for you. Maybe also go networking and be friends with a bunch of scientists. I mean, honestly, I think that's pretty good advice in general. Scientists are pretty cool. Or if you're feeling really spicy, you can go be the scientist yourself and learn how to put brains into robot fish bodies if you are so inclined. Actually, no, this one I want to be in shadow because this one's going to be underneath her hand. Alright. Yep, all that belongs in shadow. This light is arguable and may not actually need it, but I think it looks nice, so I'll go ahead and keep it. Okay, I want to kind of combine those two shapes there. Oh, trust me, that is way insufficient science. I want this part to be fairly thin, just because it is against the wall and not totally three-dimensional, but I don't know. I think these shapes look pretty nice, so I'm not going to change them too much. Just kind of refine them a little bit. And I want to mimic the shape of this paint blob a little bit better here. There we go. That should make it more clear what it is. And I think I want this to be a little bit sharper of an angle. There we go. I mean, yeah, I figured it was in science class. That's pretty normal. I did similar things when I was in school. Alright, now I can perfect a little highlights on these guys too. I guess these aren't highlights. I'm just perfecting all the little shadows and stuff. Getting those shapes just right. When I'm zoomed out, these are way too small for me to be able to see. So I'm getting most of the shapes on these guys while I'm zoomed in. This I want to be a little bit more in shadow. I want to make it look like it's going down. This will really just define the shape of the paint. There we go. Here, I think I'm going to make this line a little bit thinner, but I want it to exist. It will be existent, just small. Existent, just tiny. Okay, there we go. Nice and smooth there. Now I just gotta go around, where everything is still kind of blocky. Where everything is just kind of blocky. Okay. Do the same over here. Get everything nice and smooth. that is the story of rendering. I look at what I drew and I'm like, that still looks bad. Let's fix it. Okay. I think this little paint blob looks pretty nice. I don't know why some of them I just look at and I'm just like, I actually kind of like that little paint blob. It's doing its best. There's just something oddly pleasant about that one in particular. It's okay, I enjoy being able to look at what I did and just be like, I like that one. Very satisfying. Very, very satisfying. Okay, I think I'm like, what, halfway there? Oh man, there's so much paint. I am once again in that state of, man, I drew so much of a thing, and now I have to render it all, and it's taken a while. How could this happen to me? Okay, I'm gonna add the cast shadows from all this paint coming everywhere, and I'll smooth it out in just a sec here. Not especially. I'm doing all right. Add a little shiny spot up there. Okay. This one looks like a little tadpole. I'm gonna make it look more like a little tadpole, because I think it's kind of cute. Okay. Unfortunate, I suppose. Okay, and I think that looks like the shape of the paint up there. So that should make it look a little bit more like a cast shadow. I want a little light going up there just to make it clear that this little stringy part is coming off of here. So I think this connects them a little bit better. And I want all of my shadows to be very round. That just makes everything more like, look a little bit more like blobby paint. Nice and round and blobby. Okay, I'm actually going to clear some of this highlight here because I know I'm going to be moving it, and I want to make sure that I get the shape of the shadow right. And having that highlight there means that I would have to, like, pull shenanigans a little bit later, so I'm going to save my future self a little bit of trouble and just clear it now while I'm still cleaning up that area. Alright. Add a few more little splatter shadows. And there. Okay, I think I've gone all the way around. Okay, there's green paint. Let's go ahead and put it in the highlights. Gonna stretch. Stretch. There we go. Much better. See, this is why my back doesn't hurt. I try to maintain good posture while I draw, and then I stretch when I feel like my arms are locking up a little bit. Gotta take care of your body. You cannot expect your mind to be functional if your body is not. They are very much connected. And I think that's all the highlight I need there, so I'll just leave it like that. I'll just put a little highlight out here. Let this one just be a little bit longer. And this one can still just be a little guy. Okay, I think that's sufficient there. I'll put little tiny guy right there. I don't really like coffee either. Couldn't really tell you why, but I don't. Okay, and I think that is sufficient highlight, so that's it for the green paint. Let's go ahead and do the blue paint. I am keeping all of these pretty simple. I don't think there's any need to make them super complex here. This is just background stuff. And I don't want the background to be pulling too much attention away from Iofi. The focus should be very much on her. Okay. And I think I have everything smoothed pretty well, so... At least around the edge, rather. So now I just gotta get the inner part. And that'll be the background done. And then I just get to play with lights, and that's the part I'm looking forward to. I just want to go play with the lights. But I do feel like when I add some of this extra lighting, that is really when the picture starts to just sing. The best way I can describe it. I just feel something, man. And it's great. And then I just look at the picture and I'm just like, ah, yes. This is the form the picture was meant to take. And it will be truly wonderful. I always look forward to that moment. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Gotta keep telling myself that because I admit, rendering paint, not super exciting. I'm doing my best, but it is perhaps not the most exciting thing. I feel like over here actually still has a few little jagged lines, so I should fix those. But you know, even though it's not exciting, I do think it's important. I don't think every step of the process has to be super exciting. I guess this is kind of the downside to a lot of my process of always starting with whatever's on top. Because it does mean that the things that I do last tend to be some of the least exciting things. I mean, sometimes I'm super into a background, but most of the time I just like to draw the character, and that is like the best part, and I do that very early on. I do that very early on, so it does mean that I'm doing a lot of the kind of slightly less interesting things near the end. But that kind of thing works for me because, at least for me, what keeps me motivated to keep working on an illustration has to do with getting it to look nice first. So, like, just getting things into a state where I like to look at it. And before then, I find it pretty hard to work on the illustration, but after that, it's like, I just see her looking at me, and I'm just like, man, that's a cute face. And just seeing the cute, happy face gives me enough motivation to go through and finish the rest. Because that cute face deserves a nice, happy environment to hang out in. Sometimes it depends, though. I still remember that one illustration I did that had, like, this entire flower field. Oh my god, I spent so long rendering all those flowers. It took forever, and that was a little bit painful. That was a little bit painful. It took so long to render all those flowers. So long. Result was worth, though. The flowers looked great. And so did the character. So, all was well. And you can bet that I'll do it again. I mean, I did it with you, Yuko. I'll definitely do it again. I always do. Alrighty. I think I'm a little bit less than halfway across. So getting there. There's just a lot. There's always a lot. Let's see. Do I want a shadow right there? I don't think I do. I think I'll just leave that shadowless. I like the shadow here, though. Shadow here looks nice. Shadow there looks pretty nice. And now, I just gotta get some of these little guys. Some of the little guys that I couldn't really do while I was zoomed out because they're just so small. Okay. Man, going through the highlights on this is going to take a little while, isn't it? Because some of them are kind of big. But it'll be alright. It's like the last thing I gotta do here. Look, I am just vibrating in my seat, super excited for when I finally get to play with light. I really love adding all the lighting at the end. It just makes everything so nice. It makes me incredibly happy. Gotta get this off the shadow. Highlights cannot go on shadows. That doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. Because, I mean, highlights are where the light is shining brightly. And shadows are where no light is hitting. So these are mutually exclusive things. Okay, and I want the paint here to be a little bit tighter around her hand. I kind of want to make it look like her hand is touching it. Which, actually, what I'm doing here is not how I would normally accomplish that. But I think it looks pretty good, so I'm just going to do it like this. I don't want there to be too much contrast around the hand. Which games? Okay, and then some of these are all shadows from paint and stuff. So I will follow the shape of the paint and stuff. This guy over here and a couple of little dots here and there. This is probably too far out, but I think it looks fine, so I'm just going to leave it. The joy of illustration. You can kind of do what you want. Okay, I'm not sure what that line is, but I'm going to get rid of it because I don't think it makes sense, and I don't think it looks particularly good. So it's got, like, both issues there. Add a couple of dots for the spray there, and then it's time to move on to this side. Ah, I see. I haven't watched Squid Game itself, but I certainly know of it. It's fairly common death game genre stuff, and I do like me some death games. They are a good time. Okay, and I think all that is fine. Let's make this part around her knee look a little nicer now. And I think around the foot here is actually the last part I need to smooth out before going to the highlights. Almost there. Almost there. Yeah. So there's the shadows, let's get the highlights. There's just so much paint. So much paint. Actually, I don't think I want to highlight on this one at all. This one's like buried in a bunch of hair and paint and stuff, so I think that one will not get one. This one will, but I don't want it there. I want it over here. Littler one over here. Actually, you know what? None over there. I'm actually gonna put in some extra shadows here from all this paint spray. There we go. Yeah, I think it looks better without the highlight. This guy can get a little highlight, and I do like the highlight here, so I guess it is time to not make it not look super terrible like it does right now. Let's go. Nope, nope, nope. Don't like that. There we go. That's much better. I'll point this one more towards this little spot up here. It's okay. It's hard to get some of these precise angles when I'm that far zoomed out. So that's why I zoom in and fix all the things. It's just easier to see like this. Actually, I think I like it with just that highlight, and I don't think this one needs a highlight at all. And you somehow did not get cleaned up before. Whoops. Just accidentally missed one, it's all good. I'll get him now. I'll go ahead and get this poor little guy now. Okay. And highlight here. I do think this guy needs a little highlight. And there we go. I think that is all of it. Phew, that was a lot of paint. Oh man. Gotta stretch again. But now I get to do some fun stuff. Oh, I'm excited. And I think it all looks fine. I'm not even gonna look at it too closely. I don't care. I wanna go do some light. Okay. Just let me get my color there. Okay. Let's see, this one I don't think I need to do too much with, actually. Let's see. Because it's mostly just on her lower body that I put it on, and I do want, like, her entire lower body to be in shadow. So I guess now it's just a matter of touching up stuff from her hair. And just... Oh, right. That's right. I forgot. Oh no, that was part of my lighting layer. Okay, good. I was gonna say, there was a thing here that shouldn't exist, but it's fine. Okay. Oh, that's always too bad. Did you go over the questions you got wrong? It can feel bad to not perform as well as you like. But it at least does tell you that there's something that can be learned. And that there's something that you're not quite understanding. So you can at least make a point of learning it now. And I see in the background there, I've got a couple of light spots that should not be. I'm gonna go ahead and fix those. And around here, all of that should just be dark. Alright. Back up to what I was doing. It's okay, anytime I see little mistakes like that, I definitely want to go fix it before I lose track of it. Should definitely not be any darkness on her hair. Okay, and I do want all this dark stuff underneath her face here, but I don't want any on her face, and I don't want any on the paint. So I will be going back and selecting all of that. Let me just get everything else the right thickness first. And then I'll go through and select things. at least you know you weren't the only one that was having trouble. Okay. And I don't think I want this paint to be in shadow. I think I want the paint to be lit up and maybe just over on the side here to just be a little bit more in shadow. One thing that always helps me when dealing with emotions is I just remind myself that emotions are temporary. They're temporary, and in the end, they are also just information. So it doesn't mean, like, what you feel typically doesn't mirror reality, like, at all. And when I go to sleep, when I wake up the next morning, I'm probably going to be feeling something different. So I try to pay attention to the information that I think my emotions are trying to convey to me, but they don't have to rule me. It's just telling me something in the end. And half the time, they are wrong. Brains are silly. I think that is just a universal truth. Brains are silly. And I'll probably be feeling something when I get up the next morning. I will have different thoughts and thus different feelings. Okay. Let's go ahead and select her head. Just the entire head. And then I will erase the shadows that I do not want. There we go. Just gonna clear all that out. Okay. That is some nice little lighting. Doing this is so easy too. So easy. Yeah, I don't think I want it on the arm. But I do... Do I want the entire brush? Maybe not all of it. I think I actually have the right idea. I like the light up here. Maybe a little bit of light on the paint there, just the tip of it, and I'll erase a little bit. Put a little bit of shadow from the paint. Okay, and I want light on her hair and stuff, but I don't think I want light on the paint. So I'll be sure to erase a lot of that when the time comes. Actually, you know what? I think Past Me had the right idea, where this part should be a little bit darker. That does look pretty nice. And then just a few places that I think should be a little bit darker around her face. But I will let this part of her hairband be lit. I think that'll look pretty nice too. And then maybe a little bit darker just right through here. Gotta pay attention to where I put all these lights. It's important. Okay, so here, most of what I wanted lit up was on her face. I see that I have a little bit on her shirt. I think I actually have a little bit too much on her shirt here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull some of it back just a little. Add a couple more little shadows in here. I think that should make things look pretty nice. And then maybe not down there. Maybe just a little bit more over here. And I think I liked the little bit of light just lining the side of the overalls here. I thought that looked pretty nice. I should fill that in. Seeing the occasional little error, and I should go fix that immediately. Always important. Okay, so what I want to do here is I kind of want to use this light to help define the shape of her face a little bit. I've been doing that a lot lately, and I think it looks really nice when I do it right. So I kind of like to give the little hint of an upper lip here. Just the slight indication that maybe it exists. Same with the lower lip. And then I just follow everything down her chin. Like I said, been doing that a lot lately. And I think it looks pretty nice. I think I will keep the entirety of her tongue in the light. But the rest, I always need to shape this very carefully in order to really make the facial features come out. And then I just make sure everything else is lit nicely. And I go from there. I'm not too bothered if I don't get the entirety of the shadow of the nose, for example. Alright, there we go. So I want this part of the hair to be lit. I think I will actually just go and select it. Okay, I can't do it like that. Where's your hair? So this part goes in. This part does not get shiny. No shinies over there. So there we go. I think that looks pretty okay. Okay, so now, I mean, I did the easy part. Now I actually got to go through and decide which parts I want to be lit up and, kind of working it all into the hair. That part always takes a little bit. It's like drawing hair again. And anime girls always have like 50 pounds of hair. So it kind of takes me a second. But I think the result always looks really nice, so I continue to do it. Fortunately, I think I'll have a pretty easy time here. Doesn't look too bad this time. This is where I'll often put a little bit of extra shine on some of the highlights, for example. And I'll send them just a little bit further down. And if I do it right, I think it looks pretty good. Alright, I think that looks good. So let's get where I want there to be light and dark here. So you can see that I'm erasing some of the extra shine on the bottom of the headband here. So basically I've lit up the top part of the headband and I just want this part to remain dark. I want it to look like it's going underneath her hair. Okay. Let's see, I think I want underneath the hairband to be a little bit darker too. So let's add just a nice little shadow underneath here. And I'll cut into it just a little bit to make it more hair-like. Just because I like it. I always think it looks pretty nice when I do it right. Okay, and then in here, I want the hairpin to be lit, but I kind of want the hair and this little triangle over here to be dark. I think it'll make the rest of the hair pop very nicely. Okay. And I think I want this entire strand to be in the light. So let's see, let me just grab the hair and I will just put light here. I don't want to get the ear. So I think that's good. And then I don't want there to be any light over there, but I want it to be on the pink bunny ear here. That's just always what I call those types of hairbands. They just look like bunny ears to me. Little bunny ear hairband. And the side of the hair here, I will let stay in darkness. But the top, I'm gonna keep in light. This is getting far enough away from the face that I just don't want the whole thing to be lit anymore. I want to direct everything towards Iofif's cute face. That is my goal. Okay, and this is a nice juicy shadow, so I'm gonna keep it dark too. Define being an artist. I mean, making art is pretty hard. And I wouldn't exactly say that I'm like strongly trying to make a career out of it or anything. Actually. But I mean, art is pretty much always hard. But I like drawing things. Drawing things is fun. Sitting down and drawing isn't hard anymore. It used to be a little bit harder for me. But it's not so much anymore. Now I honestly feel a little bit sad if I go too long without drawing something. I question if I could go on vacation sanely anymore. Because I'm sure I just spend the entire time being like, man, I wish I was at home drawing things. So that aspect isn't very hard for me, at least. But drawing itself, yeah, I mean, art is hard, and it's pretty hard when things don't work out the way that I want them to. And what I make doesn't look good, or I don't like it. And that kind of sucks, and especially with me now trying to grow my channel here. When something doesn't perform quite the way that I hope, and things don't get views or, you know, whatever else, that can feel pretty bad. So, I mean, the act of making art, while art is hard, always feels pretty good to me. It just tends to... all the extra stuff that comes with it, of just... being seen and that kind of stuff, that always feels pretty bad. Which is why I became convinced a while ago that I am not sure if I could do this professionally. Okay, how is that? Do I feel like I need to kind of erase anything around her face there? don't think so. I think that face is looking pretty cute. I think I'm satisfied. I like the way her hair is lit here. So, alright, let's go and clean up the lights around the brush here. For now, I will just get everything smooth, and then I will worry about the parts that are going to be a little bit darker, so that this way everything looks a little bit more brush-like. Okay, and I think I want some parts to be lit up a little bit more further down. Just based on how I have the shadows and highlights lined up here. I think that should all look pretty nice. Oh, no, no, no. I want this to be lighter. And then a little bit darker just where the paint is kind of falling over it. Yeah, just like that. I think that looks pretty good. Now then, I don't want any of her arm to be lit, so this is all just going to be for her hand. And even then... No, I think I want most of this to be lit. Kind of making some final decisions here. And I think I will add a little bit of darkness around her finger. Yeah. Give that finger a little bit more presence here. So you can see that I'm not adding this light uniformly. I'm thinking about the areas that I really want to be lit up. Okay, and then I'm not sure how this is going to work. But I'm going to clear all the light from that. Yes, I think I want it like that. With maybe just a few lights in a few key areas. But I don't think it looks good with the entire thing lit up. Yeah, I think that's all the paint that needs to be lit. So I'll go ahead and smooth all this out. Just smooth it all out. Okay, there we go. And maybe a little bit on this guy too. I'll just let these kind of out in front near the hair and all the other areas of focus. Seeing just a little bit more, and I don't know how that happened there. That was strange, but it's okay, I fixed it. Okay. Let's go ahead and fix the lights around here, too. So I just added a few extra shadows, a couple of places that are just going to be a little bit darker. I think it looks nice. I'm not too fussed with it. Over here's not quite as important, so I'm not too fussed with all this. Yeah, I don't think there should be any light here. Maybe a little bit on the buttons. And a little bit just on the side here. But otherwise, yeah, I don't think that there should be too much light here. Gotta erase all of this. This part should not be in light. This part, yes. Over there, no, definitely not. Let this part be a little bit shinier. And then I'll add just a little bit of shine to these buttons. And I think I might add just a little bit of shine to the side of the first couple of paint canisters as well. But you can see that I am not being super precise with most of this. And I think it'll be okay. Don't think anything down here needs shine. So I'll make sure that it's all cleared. And in fact, I'm going to go check to make sure I didn't miss anything down there. This down there should definitely not have light. Okay. Now, before I declare Iofifteen done, I would actually like to make a few spots recede into the background a little bit more strongly. So I'm actually going to take these colors that I have in the background and just lightly brush them over a few areas here. Very lightly. Let it kind of blend in just a little bit here. And that'll make things go back even further. This one I want to keep out, but I will add a little bit of purple on the bottom. There we go. I think I would like to do a little bit on the hair here too. Just a little. Like I said, you don't want to overdo it with that. Actually, you know, nah. I don't like it on her hair. I changed my mind. Okay. I want her hair to stand out. These guys I want to go into the background, but this, nah, that I want to stand out. Okay. So, I think that's the character done, actually. Man. Lighting and all. Phew. Okay, let's start doing some foreground. I still got another hour here. Maybe I can actually finish it today. That'd be pretty rad. Yeah, I could definitely get behind that. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, so I see that I do not have very much dark going on, which makes sense since this is all foreground. Naturally, I wouldn't put very much darkness in the foreground. So I just have a little bit going down here. I don't think I can do that without turning on the lights for the background too. So I'll go ahead and put them down. I might actually have the background a little bit too dark, now that I look at it. Just a little. Let's bump that up a little. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better. And does it need anything else? Yeah, I don't think I want any shiny parts back there. That's just background. So, alright. Let's just go and perfect my lighting here. Actually, I don't want to zoom in yet. I want to get my big picture down first. Get the big picture and then go back in for the details. Okay, there. I think that adds just a little bit more dimension to everything. So here's where I have to be very particular on which parts I light and which parts I don't. Because I want to because if I light, or if I put extra shadows on the wrong place, it'll just flatten everything out and that'll be terrible. So don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to do that. So I will just carefully brush over some of these areas that I think should be lit up still, and the rest can stay dark. So I'm just erasing the dark layer here. So any place that I don't want to be dark, it gets erased. And any place that I do want to be dark, I brush in the dark. And it just adds a little bit more dimension to everything. But as always, gotta be careful. Don't want to overdo it. Okay. I think that should be fine. Let's see. Do I have... Yeah, this is all just the light there. I do think that I need some light there in order to match with her face, but I think what I have here is probably too much. Like, I think the color is probably fine. I just got a little bit too much going on there. I want it so that maybe half of this is in light. And it'll be just enough to make things a little bit shinier. Just a little bit shinier. Actually, no, I do think I want a little bit through there as well. And then most of back here should not have some light. I think the only parts that should are just way out in the front there. So something like that. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and have it follow the shape of my paint very closely. Very, very closely. Want to make sure that I don't have any spots missed, and that it just generally follows the lumps and ridges that I have in the paint here. There we go, and a little bit like that. No, I want it to come up just a bit more there. Yeah, a little bit more like that. I think that looks even better. Then I think I'll put a little shadow in the shadow area here. Let this spot be just a little bit darker. But over here I want to keep completely lit. Okay, and over here, I think I want the light to be a little bit thinner. This is not really a focal area, so I don't want it to be too strong. I just want to let it push the leg back a little bit more and her lower body. So I'm just making this part pop forward, and by making it pop forward, everything else will pop back. Add a little bit more dimension that way. It's actually kind of funny to me how many little things you can do to make things look a little bit more three-dimensional. There we go, and now I just gotta get this guy back here. I'm not gonna light any of those. They don't need to be lit. This is just for things that are just extra shiny, extra bright. The things that the light is hitting directly. That is all this extra light is for. And if I put it evenly everywhere, nothing about the lighting would change, and it just wouldn't look good. So, there we go. Okay, I think that's all I really need to do there. So let's get the background. Okay. Let's see here. I saw that there was a couple of spots that have like the wrong color, so I'm gonna go and fix that first. just brush everything over with the correct color. There we go. And now this layer's more about just making everything pop a little bit extra. And just really making it clear which things are further back and just making certain parts recede further back. So I don't necessarily want to follow the shadow from paint in the foreground when I'm doing this. Not necessarily. It's possible that I still might, but I need to think about it a little bit harder. And this is when I make all of those kinds of decisions. Let me see here. I want to erase some here, but I still want all of it on the green. So I just want this guy to be lit just a little bit more. But I want the green part to be just completely in shadow. All of this should definitely be dark. Okay. So let's see, which parts here should be dark? I'm going to erase a little bit through here. I think this is a little bit too much. I think some of the stuff over here should be light. Not all of it, but some of it. And there, I think that's about what I want for here. All of this can be in the light. All of this should be dark, though. So this isn't about being shadowed from the paint. This is about really separating the foreground and the background. And I'm kind of using the location of the big paint streak to help me do that. So anything that's just kind of close to a lot of foreground elements is getting pushed back from the shadows. I don't like the shape. This is one of those cases where it doesn't really matter if it's realistic or not. What's important is that it serves its purpose and does what it needs to do in the illustration here. I need it to be composed, and I realize that I have a hole here. I'm not sure what that is. That might actually be some pixel dirt from Iofi. Let me check. It is. Okay, so I suspect it's something from her overalls. Let's see. It isn't. Oh. Mysterious. Okay. I'm gonna have to go through my layers then. Okay, some residue on the hips. Okay. There we go, all gone. Sometimes it just takes a second to track down, but actually getting rid of it once you do is pretty easy. Oops. Oh yeah, I want my darkness back on here. Just so I will see what it will actually look like at the end. Actually, my shadows there are a little bit lumpy. I'm gonna go fix those before I finish this. Because these are more important than what I was doing. Huh, is that not something from Iofi? I see, so you're from the light layer. Aha. I don't really feel like grabbing the color again, so I'm just gonna erase there and... Nope, I erased too much. I have to grab the color again, alas. I was gonna say, I'm just gonna live with whatever I drew, but then I didn't like it, so... Had to go and get the color again. There we go. That looks better. I think I want here to be light. Actually, I didn't clean this very well at all, did I? No, not really. Oh well. Got a little bit lazy there because this area is not super important. I actually question whether I should be putting any light on it at all, but I think it looks a lot better with it, so... Here we go. That's why I do these things. Okay. We played at the light, now it's back to the darkness. You do need both. You gotta have both the light and the darkness. Otherwise, things won't look good. Because let me tell you, it's the contrast between light and darkness that really makes things look great. Okay. Let's see here. I'll put a little bit of light through here. I don't want too much. Just enough to add, I don't know, make it look a little bit more interesting. And then the light by her hand. I think I want it to be a little bit tighter on the top and a little bit looser on the bottom. So a little bit more like this. So here I'm more just getting the shape to look nice, and I'm not really concerning myself with anything else. There we go. That's a nice little shape. And once again here, it's not necessarily about cast shadows or anything like that. It's all just about emphasizing what I want to emphasize. And I'm just kind of using the foreground to provide some information on where some of those spots should be. All of this should be dark. All of it. Okay. How is that? Yeah, I think that's about how I want it. I think over here should all be dark too. And I see that I have not yet done the top, so let's go do the top. Actually, right there looks a little bit messy. So I should go and correct that. Let's see, I don't mind adding just a little bit of light around her face. I do want to pull her head forward, but adding just a little bit more interesting stuff going on around her face actually makes sense. Eyes are also attracted to detail. So, if you make areas a little bit more detailed, then that will also get people's attention. And bring their eyes to your lovely focal point. Okay, and I just want to make this a little bit smoother here. I felt like it was a little bit blobby. Blobby is good for paint, but it is not so good for hair. It looks like I just missed a spot. Is this the right color? It is. Perfect. Okay. Looks much better. It was a small thing, but the small things add up. So I think it's worth getting them right. So I just kind of go back and look at them as I find some of these smaller issues. Okay. I'm adding a little bit more dark areas around her hair here. I'm sure at some point I said that they weren't necessary, but I changed my mind, and now I want them back. I'll do the same here. There we go. Let's see, did I get them all? Did I miss any spots? Arguably, I could just get that entire area. Let's see. What looks better? Which one looks better? I think it actually looks better completely in darkness. So there we go. What about you over here, where I erased a little bit? Yeah, that also just looks better completely in darkness. Okay. Sometimes you just gotta keep things simpler. Just wanted to overcomplicate things. I think this one will look better with light, though. Ooh. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. I was wrong. Okay. So there we go. Let's see. Do I like you lighter? Nah, I definitely have the perfect color there, I think. So I think she's done. I'm gonna do some color correction and stuff, but man. I actually wasn't expecting her to finish her today. I figured I'd need one more. So that means, you know, on what day do I do this next? Thursday? Yes, Thursday. So come Thursday, we'll be drawing a new picture. Alright, let's go ahead and do some post-correction stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select everything. Control-Shift-C to copy everything. And so now I just have a layer with literally the entire thing. Oh. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, if I take it out of this folder here, you can see it is literally one layer with everything. I'm gonna put it back in there. And I want it back in there because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do filter blur, Gaussian blur. We're gonna blur some things. I don't think I want there to be any actual blurry parts on this picture. So this, sometimes if you see me draw things, I'll do a blur layer and then I will just erase certain parts where I don't want things to be blurry, but I don't think I want anything to be blurry here. I'm thinking about this leg, but nah, I don't actually think it looks good. So I will put it on soft light. And that'll just make things a little bit shinier. It's hard to describe, but trust me. Man, not sure what that was, but that was vaguely uncomfortable. Anywho. But yeah, it just makes things a little bit shinier. So I'm seeing at which point I like it. I'm reducing the opacity of this layer. Okay, I think I like it about there. And you can see before and after, it's subtle. Very subtle, but there's a little bit of extra shine. And then what I want is curves, or in Krita, it's called color adjustment. So what this does is I can make the darks just a little bit darker, and the lights just a little bit lighter if I so desire. So I'm finding the point where I think that they look pretty good. Okay, let me see. And I can adjust all the RGBA stuff separately, so I might do that a little bit for this one. Kind of reduce red and green and blue in certain key areas. Sometimes I do it separately, sometimes I don't. I want her to look a little bit warmer, so I'm reducing blue in the highlights. I think I might have actually overdone it here, so I might do a fresh one. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do a fresh one. I had a thought. It didn't quite pan out. It's fine. I'll just do what I was thinking about doing in a color balance layer instead. But I do want to bring out the highlights a little bit more. I thought it looked better with that little bit of extra light. Yeah, just a little extra light there. Okay. And then this last one is just going to be color balance. Where I just adjust some sliders to make colors look a little bit nicer. I normally don't have to tweak them too much. Just because I do think that my colors are generally pretty good. But typically, a few small adjustments can make things look just a little bit nicer. So you can see the colors just changing just a little bit there. Okay, how's that? Yeah, you can see that a lot of it barely changed anything, but it's a little bit shinier. Most of the time I don't need to do that much, like, post-processing stuff. Sometimes I don't do any at all. But I think it's a little bit better like this. Just a little bit. The color balance is the most debatable. That's probably going to be the one that I looked at in the morning. Just to make sure I still like it. Because I think I like it, like, on the yellow here, but I'm not sure if I like it anywhere else. Like, especially on this green, I'm not sure if I like it. But fortunately, I can apply these selectively. So if I decide that I don't like a spot, I just erase it on that spot. Yeah, in fact, I don't think I like it on that green, so I'll go ahead and demonstrate. So I'm going to grab my brush. And we paint this part. I always forget if it's black or yellow that gets rid of it. Okay, it's black that gets rid of it. And I'm just going to get rid of it on this spot here. Is there any other spot that I just don't like it on? Honestly, I'd go as far as to say that it just does not look good on the green. So let's go ahead and just clear this on the green. Okay. A little bit over here still. But otherwise, I'd say that looks pretty good. Actually, I don't think it looks good here or over here either. Things look a little bit bluer on this blue without it. Where'd my cursor go? There it is. Lost track of him for a second there. All right. And I think that's a finished picture. So I'll be taking another look at it tomorrow morning to make sure that there's nothing I want to change. If it's a big change, I'll do that on stream, but if it's just a super minor thing, I'll probably just, you know, do a basic adjustment and call that just off stream and call that good, and I'll upload the time-lapse and all that, so we should hopefully get that tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then the next day. I think I can manage it by the next day. We'll see. Maybe my life blows up. Who knows? You never know. But I'll do my best. But there we go, man. I'm pretty happy with this one. A little bit sad that I ended up drawing basically the exact same pose I did on Yu Yu Co, and I couldn't quite figure out the perspective shenanigans I wanted to do. But the result? Nah. Result's great. Result's fantastic. I love her face. It just looks so happy. So, yeah. I'm glad. It just looks like she's having a pretty good time. Don't have much else to say. Maybe I should, you know, study paint a little bit harder, but I think this is sufficiently paint-like. I don't think it's distracting. Definitely have to study how to draw feet, but once again, I didn't want to fuss over it too much because it's just there in the background. I don't think anybody will notice that it's a super awkward foot. Well, that's about all I got there. I'm happy. I think it looks great. I want to study perspective more. And at some point, I would actually like to do a minimalist drawing again like I intended for this one to be, but things didn't quite work out that way. But that's okay. It's all good. I really, really like it. And I think this was exactly the correct way to draw this picture, as opposed to minimalism. I'll do something with minimalism. I've been thinking. I've been thinking pretty hard about it. So I'll definitely find a good excuse for it. But that's not what I'm going to be doing next. Next, I actually would like to do a photo study. So I want to show you how I break down photos and actually study these things. And I've been wanting to work on my fundamentals a little bit more here, so this way hopefully I can speed up my drawing. So this way I don't have to like flail with proportions and pull shenanigans like that. And I can just get everything right the first time. And just make things a little bit more structural and things, it should... I'm saying a lot of art things. Basically, I want to draw faster. I want my results to be better. I want the end result to be a little bit stronger. But mostly I just want to draw faster. So, yes, I will be doing a photo study, and I figured, you know, who better than the one VTuber I know that's actually fairly open about her face. So I grabbed a photo off of Kaysan's Twitter, so I will be drawing her. Found a nice one. I'll go ahead and prep it for what I want to do because I plan on getting rid of all the color. This is strictly a proportion and structure study. I don't plan to bring color into it. So I will prep it for that, and I will do all that prep work on stream. So that'll be nice. And then I will try to draw it, and I'll try to get as close to the photo as I can. I don't know how far I will push it. Because frankly, I'm not sure if it'll be interesting to watch me get to, like, perfect photo realism, because it takes a while. It's very slow. But, nonetheless, I still want to study feature placement and how things wrap around forms and stuff like that. So that's really what I'll be paying attention to. So you can look forward to that. We'll do that, what is it, Thursday? Yes, Thursday. So, I'm very excited. I have been studying so many things, and I think it's wonderful. And I feel like my art has improved significantly because of it, so let's keep that going. Let's do some studying. But, oops, I turned off my thing. There we go. Actually, I didn't realize that I had it off. Does it look better with it off? No, I still think it looks a little better with it on. Well, does it? It's like a little cooler with it off, and yeah, I like it better with it off. Look, this is why I check these things. This is why I always sleep on it for a while. And then I check it at the end. But, yeah, I'm still done. And this is also where I'm ending for today. So, thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I'll see you all tomorrow.